A lot of my clients who are moving to Pennsylvania from out of state often tell me things such as, oh, I could never consider a townhome because I don't want to hear my neighbors through the walls, or I would love a townhome, but I just don't think that I could find any that are big enough that have enough square footage for me and my family. These statements might have been true maybe 10 or 20 years ago, but things have definitely changed. Let's go over the major differences and similarities of buying both a townhouse or a single family home so you know which is best for you. Starting with the overall advantages and more specifically the advantages of owning a townhouse. The first and truthfully one of the most obvious advantages of owning a townhouse over a single family home is the maintenance. Townhomes generally require much less maintenance than single family homes because for the most part all townhomes are a part of a homeowners association or HOA. Most HOAs will cover things such as the roof, the siding, the landscaping, cutting the grass, blowing the leaves, shoveling the snow, etc. The second advantage is truthfully just how sturdy these townhomes are built. And of course, I don't mean that single family homes aren't built very well, but it's different for townhomes because you could be sharing 1 or 2 walls with other homes. So if you're an interior unit, of course, it's a lot more sturdy than just maybe a single family home that stands by itself. The main objection that I hear people say is, I don't want to be able to hear my neighbors through the walls like in an apartment. And the good news is the major difference between apartments and townhomes is that yes, they might share 1 or 2 walls with the house next to them, but the difference is a townhouse has a fire resistant barrier wall between the 2 homes, which is code. Every townhome is required to build this wall in between each individual home, as opposed to an apartment where there's likely just drywall, which is very thin and very easy to hear your next door neighbor. Most townhome builders also put sound resistant insulation on the walls that are shared between the homes just for an extra barrier of quiet. Another advantage of buying a townhouse could be the amenities within the homeowners association community. In some of the newer townhome communities, it's very likely to find a clubhouse, a shared community pool, tennis courts, walking paths, a dog park, or really just about anything else you can imagine in some of these newer townhome communities. Another advantage and one of the more popular reasons for why people choose townhomes is the overall affordability. Depending on whether the townhouse is a resale home or a new construction, along with the location, most townhomes are more affordable than single family homes. Shockingly enough, there are certainly townhomes that range from $200,000 to $300,000 all the way up to townhomes that are in the $1 million price range. So depending on your price point, if you're open to a townhome, we can certainly find you one with whatever price point you're looking at. Whether you're buying a single family home or a townhome, I would love to help you purchase your perfect home here. All of my contact information is below. Let's get over to the next advantage of buying a townhome. Another very important advantage of townhomes is mostly their location. Townhomes are mostly located in very suburban, urban areas with great walkability, or at least close to a town that has some tremendous walkability with shopping, dining, bars, parks, etc. Truthfully, I've never seen a townhome community in the middle of nowhere. There certainly could be one, but for the most part, townhomes are built very close to walkable downtown type areas. So now let's move over to some of the advantages of buying a single family home to see how those compare to the advantages of a townhome. Starting with privacy. No matter how nice a townhome community is, at the end of the day, if you want a home that has tons of privacy and a good amount of land, a single family home could certainly be best for you. Single family homes typically offer more privacy since unlike a townhouse, which is attached to either one other house or 2, a single family home is completely unattached to any other property. Another advantage of a single family house is the space. Since these homes are not attached to any other home, unlike a townhouse, it's very likely that you'll have much more land and your own dedicated backyard compared to a townhome. But with a single family home, you also have the flexibility to add on to your home if for some reason down the road you need a bigger house and you need to add on an addition. You certainly have that flexibility in most neighborhoods and depending on your lot size when it comes to a single family home. If you're a big outdoorsy person and you love to mow your lawn, plant the garden, shovel snow, have a bonfire, etc., a single family home might be best because you have full freedom of your yard and the outdoor space, whereas a townhome is an HOA, so you wouldn't have the flexibility to plant as many gardens, set up a fire pit, install a pool, etc. Compared to, let's say, 10 to 20 years ago when most townhomes were pretty small, nowadays they're building townhomes that are much bigger. So whether you need 1,000 square feet or 4 or 5,000 square feet, you're not limited to either a single family or a townhome. Depending on how much square footage you need, both options are certainly available to you. Speaking of your backyard space, the next advantage is the customization options and flexibility that you get when purchasing a single family home. If you were to purchase a single family home that isn't in an HOA community, you could choose any single color for your roof or siding. You can fully customize your driveway with stone, brick, asphalt, etc. You could change the facade from your home from brick to stone, or any other options that you would like when it comes to the exterior and of course the interior of your home. With a single family home, you have overall full flexibility of both the yard space and the exterior of your house. So if that's something that's very important to you, most likely a single family home might be best for you. But also on the other side, keep in mind that a home or a townhome that's in an HOA community, the job of the HOA is to make sure that each house is in good shape, doesn't have any crazy colors or any craziness going on the house or around the yard, such as tons of cars, trash, etc. all over the yard. So depending on what you're looking to do with your yard and your house, keep that in mind and don't immediately discount HOAs. So I hope you now have a great sense of the overall advantages of both a townhouse and a single family home. So now let's jump over to the disadvantages of both of these style of homes, starting with the townhomes. The first disadvantage of a townhome is of course the HOA fees, which you can't include in your mortgage. So that is another monthly payment that you'll have to account for. Those fees can sometimes be pretty high, and depending on which state you're moving to, I have had clients move from some of the more coastal states where they say that the HOA fees are several $100s or even close to $1,000 a month. And rest assured, it is very unlikely to find an HOA here in this area in the more southeastern part of Pennsylvania that is more than maybe $200 to $300 a month. When it comes to personally assessing if you think an HOA fee is high or not, take into account everything that the HOA includes. And think about it this way: if an HOA is covering your roof and siding, but you have to pay a couple $100s extra a month towards the HOA, how many years would living there make it worth not having to pay for a roof and siding replacement down the road? I've had a couple of clients who have bought a single family home, and soon after, or maybe a couple years down the road, they've had to either do a big expense like replace the siding, replace the roof, which could cost $10,000 to $20,000 depending on the size of the home. But if they would consider a townhome and maybe consider a couple $100 extra fees each month, then they wouldn't have to incur that $10,000 to $20,000 payment a couple years into owning the home. So before you completely write off an HOA community, certainly look into it, see if it's worth it or not, depending on what the HOA is covering. And of course, I can help you assess it to see which HOAs might be worth it and which are a little bit on the higher side. Another disadvantage of owning a townhouse is of course the lack of privacy. By owning a townhome, your home would be attached to at least one or two sides of another home, depending on if you purchase an N-unit townhouse. So it's very likely that both of your walkways, your garages, and your back decks will line up next to each other. So if you're fully against seeing or hearing or building any sort of friendship or relationship with your neighbors, and you would prefer complete quiet and serenity and complete privacy, then, well, a townhome might not be the best option for you. Before we get into the disadvantages of a single family home, let's go over this last disadvantage of a townhouse, which is the lack of design capability. Townhomes are mostly a part of HOA communities. So with that, you of course give up the customization design feature of your home, because most townhomes are built very uniform looking. You would not be able to do things such as change the facade to a different color or an entirely different material, such as switching your home from siding to brick or from brick to siding, etc. The exteriors of townhomes are mostly built to look very similar to each other to give it an overall community look and community feel. So if you want a home where you can truly customize the exterior, a single family home would likely be best option for you. So now let's go over to the disadvantages of a single family home, starting with the maintenance. Homeowners are responsible for maintaining both inside and outside of their home, including yard work, roof repairs, and exterior painting, which can be costly and time consuming. I have had clients tell me after buying a single family home that they would have wished that they would consider a townhouse because their weekends are just full of updating, maintenance projects at their their house and yard work as opposed to spending time with family, taking a walk, going to a park, or going to their local downtown for shopping and dining. Another downside of a single family home is that it could likely be higher fees, higher insurance, and overall just higher maintenance costs compared to a townhome. Single family homes typically have higher purchase prices, and the costs for utilities and maintenance are usually higher due to the larger size, because the bigger the home, the more expensive it is to maintain. Also, for the most part, single family homes have a higher insurance cost as well, because if an HOA is covering the siding, roof, etc. for a townhouse, those are the major things that a homeowner's insurance wouldn't really have to worry about, because that's something that the HOA covers, as opposed to a single family home where the homeowner and the homeowner's insurance are responsible for every aspect of the house. Another downside of a single family home could be the lack of community. Depending on the neighborhood, single family homes could offer less of a community feel compared to townhouse neighborhoods, because not all single family homes are in a neighborhood. There could be some on a back road or on a main road, but overall just not in the center of a community. For the most part, they are in neighborhoods, but you certainly could find homes, again, in the middle of nowhere. Some single family homes could be very spread out, so you could have a good amount of space between your neighbor, and you really wouldn't need to interact with each other such as you could have in a townhouse, because you have that space and distance. So if you're looking to know your neighbors and become friends and build that kind of sense of community, it could be a little bit harder in a single family home community as opposed to townhomes. I would love to help you decide which home style works best for you, and if you're thinking about purchasing a home in the southeastern part of Pennsylvania, right around the Philadelphia metro area, I would love to help you find your perfect home. All of my contact information is below and in the description below, and I look forward to seeing you over on this next video.